Do this to ensure your prepping success. Hey everybody, this is Michael with Asymmetrical Preparedness. What am I talking about? I am talking about keeping track of your preps. But not just keeping track of your preps, keeping a prepper notebook. Why? Because it's several reasons why, actually. But before I get into that, please, if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell for all. Hit that thumbs up or the thumbs down. Comment below, share the videos. And let me talk about that for a second. The comment section is a great place for you guys to interact, to interface with each other, to throw out ideas, to ask questions, to learn from each other. So please, take advantage of that. There are other things like forums and stuff like that, but you know, YouTube is what it is. It's a big thing. So utilize the comment section like forums. I've actually thought about how I could organize something and do like videos or playlists where it would basically become like a forums thing. I don't know. But it's a great place for you guys to talk to each other and learn from each other. But with that said, let's get into the video. All right, prepper notebook. Why do you want a prepper notebook? Well, first, because you got to know what you have so that you can identify weaknesses. That's my biggest point to have a prepper notebook. Because we need to know where our strengths are and our weaknesses so that we can say, okay, if we kind of tend to lean one direction in our preps, say food storage or water storage or tactical, well, we can look in our books or notebooks and we can analyze what we have, what our needs are, and we can figure out and say, hey, I got a lot of food, okay? So, but what else am I weak on? Am I weak on solar? Am I weak on, firewood or the ability to cook or heat my house or my surroundings without the grid? That may be the case. And I'll speak a little bit later, a little bit more on that also later. But, or is it that you look down your, say, food storage, for example, all the beans, the rice, the corn, the wheat, the canned goods, all that kind of stuff, the bucketed foods, all those kind of things, and you realize, hey, I'm really weak on meat, which tends to happen, I think, in the prepper community. Because why? Because meat's more expensive. It's more rewarding and feels better to buy a big 25-pound, 50-pound bag of rice or beans than, say, some cans of meat for the same price, right? You think, your dollar goes further, which is true. But if you eat meat, you need to include that in your preps. Another thing that a prepper notebook does for me at least, is it helps motivate me. Helps me realize, hey, I'm doing pretty darn good in this category, in this category, in this category. Okay, hey, that category needs some work. So then you can prioritize that category, bring it up to speed, equal with the other categories. I know the channel name's Asymmetrical Preparedness, meaning not equal, uneven, those kind of things. And I chose that channel name for a reason. First off, asymmetrical warfare, advanced warfare, as well as the fact that prepping, no matter how hard we try, it's not going to be even. Because I'm, for example, one person. Tribe is what fills it and makes it symmetrical. We as individuals are asymmetrical because we cannot have all the skill sets, we cannot meet every parameter, and we cannot prepare for everything unless you're a billionaire building those massive underground bunker complexes like they are right now. Why are they doing that? Good question, because they know and they see what's going on. And I think they're probably a little more in tune with what's really going on in the world than you and me. So let's take an example from them and up our preparedness game. But prepper notebook. Another thing, what I do is prepper notebook is one of the things where every time the season changes, I at least take a look at it that often, as well as going through my bug out bags, my get home bags, my patrol packs, whatever bags I have with stuff in them for use. I go through them and I make sure that they are going to be ready for the new season, meaning winter. More warm weather clothing, more foul weather gear, more warm socks, etc. versus say summer. Summer or spring starts to roll around, things warm up, maybe you can take some of that stuff out of there because ounces equal pounds, pounds equal pain, and you don't want to carry extra gear, then you absolutely don't have to. And carrying extra gear and extra, like say for clothing, extra layers of clothing and all that stuff like to keep you warm, that and your ability to stay warm without a grid is what I've been talking about lately. The Fortress foul weather clothing, the cold weather gear, Fortress, their base layers. This is just a shell, nothing else, non-insulated shell with their base layer. I've been wearing it out here, work on the garden and stuff like that. I'm actually thinking of some cool ideas. I was gonna sit down here in the front yard and have my son spray me down with a hose, soak me, and to see how well they do in water, because supposedly they do really well in water. I haven't tested it yet, but I've seen people, on videos, they'll cut a hole in the ice, jump in, get out, and like 45 seconds later, they're warm. So I want to test that feature on these clothing, on these base layers and other stuff. But anyway, check out the link in the description below to Fortress. I'm really impressed. I'm really excited about this. I know people say I'm turning into a clothing salesman. That's not the case. I'm just so excited about it. I want you guys to be prepared for dark winter, for not having a grid, having portable heat. So no matter where you go, you don't have to rely on a wood stove or a coal burning stove or a propane or a generator or stuff like that. You can stay warm on the move or sedentary, staying put. And it's just, I'm really excited about it. I'm sorry, I don't mean to go on and on and on about it. But anyway, that is something that's very important. And if you're going with a good quality base layer like this, and maybe their other stuff that they have, their other lines, to make sure that you're warm in any environment, then you don't have to pack a bunch of different layers. You just throw this in and you're good to go. One thing I will note though, it is a little bulky because of the way the padding is. What I do is I'll roll it up really good, really tight, and then I'll put it in a Ziploc bag and I'll try to roll it up as much as I can. Or what you can do is you can put it in a vacuum sealer. That works really well because it gets lightweight. It doesn't weigh a lot. It's just more bulky. You vacuum seal it down nice and tight, throw that in your bag, good to go. It doesn't take up much room anyway. But anyway, back to the main point of the video is identifying your strengths and weaknesses. And identifying your strengths is a great motivator because you can look at it and see, okay, I've been prepping a little every day. I've been putting, I've been getting things when I can. An extra can of green beans here, an extra can of chicken here, an extra can of roast beef here, whatever it may be. And you can see how that's starting to add up. And it really gives you that peace of mind knowing that you're headed in the right direction. Sorry for the break. My wife had a question. But yes, it is a great motivator. It helps you get that peace of mind knowing that, hey, I'm doing okay, but I might be able to improve in this area. So that's really a good thing to do. Also, in your prepper notebook, it's not just about food storage, water storage, medical, the tools, the 550 cord shelter, tarps, blankets. There's a lot to it, yes. As well as like the Freedom Seeds, the Freedom Seed holders, defensive tools. Those can be in there also, so you can keep track of how that's going. And one thing I recommend doing in that regard, regarding the seeds, is keeping your SHTF stockpile separate from your training stuff over here. So keep your training stuff. This is the stuff you use from, and you replenish whenever you use it. And then whenever you maybe get an extra box or something, put it over in that category to stockpile for long term. Kind of like rotating your food. But I keep this training stuff dedicated for training because it is worth the money. It is worth every penny if you're actually going out and getting real world training. Practical application of your tools is vitally important. That is worth way more than having a really expensive tool. If you have a less expensive tool, but you know how to use that bad boy, and you are very, very proficient with it, I'd take that any day over some guy with some fancy high-end doodad conglomeration of whatever Barbie stuff or Lego thing. Yeah, tool. Yeah. So that's a good way to use it also, as well as identifying the holders for the seeds. Are you adequate supplies? Do you have extra? maybe put some of the extra ones, or the ones that maybe you got a long time ago that they're maybe not the best brand, or maybe not 100% functionally reliable. Put those in a barter box. That's what I do. I have some old Thermold ones that I throw in a barter box, some old some of the other less expensive ones, I forget, as well as most of my GI ones just go in there because, yeah, they're still good, but, and a lot of them I've replaced with the Big M Magpul anti-tilt followers, you know what I mean? But that's kind of a side note. Sorry, I kind of go off on a side note. Make sure everything is squared away. I mean, the more we can do now, the better off we will be later. Don't procrastinate. Don't put stuff off. Look at your prepper notebooks. If you don't have a prepper notebook, just start one. Go get one of those steno pads from like Walmart for 50 cents or something, or the Dollar Tree or something like that, and you know, and a pen. I mean, seriously, and then just go through and inventory your preps. It may take some time to do that. Yes. And this is a whole can of worms. So like the whole rotational thing, and whether you want to put, you know, the dates of your cans in your prepper notebook, that gets varied because then you got to go like can by can by can, and that'll take a lot of paper if you have a lot of food storage. So you got to figure that out yourself, how you want to go about doing it. But this is a great tool to make sure that you are where you think you are. It's a great tool to figure out and make us real with ourselves, the truthfulness of our preparedness, where our actual level of preparedness is. This is very important. We don't want to be blowing smoke up our butts. We don't want to think we're more prepared than we are. I would rather downplay it. That's why, you know, a lot of people talk about like how many calories per person per year, or how many pounds of food per person per year. A lot of people base it off the 2,000 calories, or say 2,500, 3,000, 4,000. I shoot for, you know, 4,000 to 5,000 because me out working and doing the things that I'm going to be required to do, I'm going to be burning 5,000, 8,000 calories a day maybe. My wife, however, won't be. She'll be burning 1,500 maybe. My little one, maybe 1,500 or 1,000. My boy, he'll be burning close to me. So, but if I just go with a number like 5,000 per person per year, I know I got more than, say I identify 5,000 calories per person per year, and I have a year of food. I know I actually probably have at least a year and 3 months, maybe a year and 6 months. But anyway, I digress. I hope you guys are prepping. I hope you guys are taking this seriously. I hope that you are looking ahead and filling those gaps, mitigating those weaknesses. I love you guys and have a wonderful day. Blessings to you and yours.